Hey YouTube, so excited today to introduce you to my friend Stacy and give you a behind the scenes look at what it takes to build custom in Mesa, Arizona. My name is Amy Gregory. I am the founder of Powerhouse, brokered by eXp Realty. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or live like a local, we would love to help. But let's break it down with my friend Stacy. I'm here today with my friend Stacy Young, and she hands down has one of my favorite houses in Mesa, so I may have begged and pleaded for her to give us a behind the scenes tour. A lot of people love the thought of building until they start building and then they realize, nope, wish I wouldn't have done this. And I think you've done it perfectly. So we kind of want to unpack yours a little bit. You guys moved from Paradise Valley, you built this about 10 years ago. What initiated your move from Paradise Valley to Mesa?
We had a family of 4 and it quickly became a family of 6. We had twin boys and didn't have any room in our home for them. So we needed to figure out where to go, and we really wanted to build a home. We started looking at land and loved this area here with all the citrus trees and the big green grass spaces and children playing everywhere. And land was less expensive here than in Paradise Valley, which was a draw as well. And so we decided to buy our lot here and build here.
Well, I grew up over by Paradise Valley, went to Paradise Valley my first year in high school, and I remember when we were moving to Mesa, people were like, where is Mesa, right? And it really is kind of this little hidden gem, especially here, and we call this like the citrus corridor. And I think the citrus corridor is always gonna have my heart in Mesa. It's probably because I've lived here for so long. But you get, this used to all be citrus, right? Mm-hmm. So they cleared the lot.
Yes.
But you still get those orange blossoms. So let's talk a little bit about your kitchen, because everyone loves Stacy's kitchen. You kind of were the mastermind behind the design, but you hired key people, which I think a lot of times when you go to build, you think I'm gonna DIY some of these things and make some of these decisions. And you influenced the build a ton, but who were your key hires when starting this project?
So since I lived in Paradise Valley, I spent a lot of time looking at homes there and in the Arcadia area. I really fell in love with especially the homes in the Arcadia area. And I kind of sought out which architect built or designed the ones that I liked the best. And then I found the builder that built homes I liked the best. And I chose the architect by that, the homes that I loved the most. We chose Matthew Thomas, and he designed it, helped design it, and drew up all the plans for us. And then our builder, Brett Brimley from Brimley Development, had built some beautiful homes in Arcadia. So we hired him to build it, and we love it.
It's a showstopper, and if you live in the Groves, everyone knows this house. Everyone knows it. So a couple of fun things in your kitchen. You've got dual sinks, you have these windows. This house is really built for entertaining. And 6 kids growing up here, and so there's a lot. The thing I love about your house is it was built 10 years ago. And like, this was not being built 10 years ago. The white oak floors, like the smooth walls, sharp corners, like the brick is another thing, all the pavers. Chicago building?
Old Chicago.
Old
yeah,
Chicago
they're
building.
just reclaimed bricks from buildings in Chicago.
Yeah. So how did you like source all of these things? Pinterest? Did you use a Pinterest? Like,
Pinterest wasn't a thing.
I know, like that's the thing, is I'm like, was Pinterest even a thing?
I think it was, but I'm not, you know, super tech person. So I mean, I knew about it, but I had my own Pinterest in my photos. I just had photo albums, you know, that had kitchen ideas, and I have my own like old school folders full of things I had clipped out of magazines I'd saved for years. So when I met with the architect, I showed him all of the different ideas I liked, and we collaborated and brought this to life.
Okay, so tell me a few things in your kitchen that you love that everyone comments on.
Okay.
One, I'm obsessed with the Costco pantry, so tell me how the Costco pantry came to life. Again, this was not a thing 10 years ago. I think it's kind of starting to be a thing. Like, I've seen a couple of designers put it in now.
Yeah.
But give me the thought behind the Costco pantry.
So funny enough, we were looking for a home for 2 years from Paradise when we knew we had grown out of our home. One of the homes actually in Mesa that we looked at had one of these pantries. I think it's the big family thing, yeah. So I thought that's a great idea, because when you go to Costco and get all those cans, you can put your cans from the back of the pantry and they roll forward. So the ones in the front are the oldest and the ones at the back are the newest. So it just rotates your food for you automatically, which I thought, that's brilliant. We'll put that in our home.
So really, in this beautiful 8,000 square foot just masterpiece, we're focused on the Costco pantry because it's like that day-to-day living though, where you're like, it's situated right next to the garage. You come in, you load it in, and that actually like makes your life easier on so many ways. And so when it comes time to build, one of the things I think people want to make sure they do is like think through like how you live in the space and make sure you like soften all those harsh edges of livability. So tell me a little bit about these windows here because they are phenomenal.
So these windows, I actually saw a home in North Scottsdale that I absolutely loved. They weren't as big or as grand as this, but I loved the idea of windows all along the kitchen. Typically you'll see like an eat-in on the side and then you lose a lot of that light. And I just wanted, with our yard the way we want it to be, where I could just see the kids from every angle, because this is the middle of the home. So this way, with all these windows, you can see exactly what's happening in your pool, what's happening on the swing set and on the sandbox, so I could see all my kids. Really just to manage, you know, I wanted to make sure they're safe and happy, and I can see it while I'm cooking and talking to people here and doing homework in this room. It was just sort of, that was the idea. And then I love light.
And then you have to make it pretty. I'm a big believer in light too.
Yeah,
my kids hate it.
I love light, and especially in your kitchen. So
I'm like the mom that goes in and like wakes my kids up by opening the blinds. Yeah, and they're like, And
now, there's nothing better than natural light. So that was why. All those reasons.
Okay, the other thing that is right off of Stacy's kitchen that I think is brilliant is kind of this office craft room space. Like, what do you even call it? But
I call it the craft room, although I'm not a crafter at all.
I'm like, what is this space?
I like to wrap pretty presents, so I have like wrapping paper and ribbons, but I don't craft necessarily, but
It's just a school project room.
Kind of. So when they have posters they need to do, or you're asking kids to dances or whatever it is, they all go in there and all the supplies are there. And I wanted a homework hub that isn't right here on top of my kitchen when I'm trying to cook and set out, you know, things for dinner. So we just decided to put it right off, because I did notice in my home before that if you have a homework center that's away from where mom is, then it all comes right here where mom is. So I thought I need to have them close by or they won't really use it.
They won't use it.
And so that was the idea behind that room being right off the kitchen.
Well, I love it because like standing from this kitchen sink, you can see into this room, you can see every computer screen and have a gauge of like what's going on, because, well, and that wasn't even a thing when you built this 10 years ago. I mean, now with COVID and the pandemic and homeschool and like all my kids came home with laptops and I was like, oh my gosh, like what are we doing here? My third grader's got a laptop, right? And so it created new issues and this was like, the solution was already right here.
We lived in this room during COVID.
Love this. Want to head into the rec room because this is another area where I think Stacy knocked it out of the park. It interacts great with her backyard. And whether or not your team basement, no basement, yes basement, we are going to get Stacy's take on it next. Every kid's dream tucked away behind a hidden door is this massive playroom. So fun fact, this room actually was not part of the original build. It was all attic space. And as they started to realize, oh, this would be a really fun room to build out, they went ahead and moved forward with the project, putting the house up to 8,000 square feet. This room served as the hidden playroom for their kids. The owner actually grew up reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and so loved the idea of having a hidden place tucked away. Fun fact, when you look at these windows, they're all actually scaled out to perfectly fit twin beds, because of course that's what we're going to do. We're going to have bunk beds in the playroom. When you have 6 kids, this is the kind of playroom you build. Okay, 6 kids means you have to have like a rec room space of some sort. And a lot of people will build basements. I used to think I loved basements until I had kids, and then I realized maybe I don't love basements. So this is not a basement. It's got these big sliding doors that open up, interact really well with the outside, with the pool, and can host a lot of kids. So originally your plans had a basement. So how come you decided to X the basement?
Yeah, so you would go down some stairs and have this whole big basement area. And as we were talking with our architect, he just said, in Arizona, just the way that the dirt is here, you can hit caliche and different things that are I think that's what it's called.
That's what it's called too. I know.
And it can be really hard to dig.
Yeah.
And we were on a time, we were bursting at the seams in our home with these 2 little new babies. We had nowhere to put them. We're like, we want to get this house done efficiently. And so the builder and architect together were saying to us, if you build down, it's going to take an extra at least 3 months. You have to put up, we wanted a walkout basement because I like light. So you have big retaining walls and then steps. So kids going up and down steps, they can slip and trip, and it's cement, it's hard surfaces.
Well, it extends your build time dramatically.
Yes.
It also extends your build cost.
The cost was more because you have to do these, the cement walls that keep everything how it should be.
Sturdy.
Yeah. And so that's more expensive.
We're super professional. We totally know the terminology.
Well, the foundation you obviously have, but doing these big walls is an expense.
Well, and when you have the square footage on your lot, it doesn't always make sense to build a basement. My theory on basements is, and someone else told me this, and I thought that is accurate. And he said he can't get his toddlers to go in the basement and he can't get his teenagers out of the basement. And he said that to me and I was like, oh, you're right. I do not want a basement. But this works really well. It comes right off the kitchen. It's gonna interact really great with the backyard, lots of natural light. Again, we see these disappearing doors a lot now, but again, that was not a thing 10 years ago. So like, where did you source this idea?
So same thing, one of the homes in North Scottsdale that was just built, it was like a showstopper, very expensive home. And I saw that and I thought, that's beautiful, because in Arizona, our weather here
you can
is
have
really
them open
beautiful, probably 9 months of the year. The summertime, you wouldn't want to because all your air conditioning would just fly right out. But most of the year, you can open this up and entertain, and it's just been, we've loved it.
This is one of those rare times where you can buy for less than you can build. One of the things that consumers need to do when they're deciding if they should buy or build is they need to price out their build fully. In order to build something of this caliber, let's run the numbers. A custom acre lot in the Citrus Corridor is currently running at about $500,000. Once you have your custom lot, you're gonna wanna hire an architect, which will run you about $200,000. Next up, you want to run your price per square foot for build costs. Something of this caliber is going to run at least $400 a square foot. At 8,000 square feet, that puts you at $3.2 million just in hard build costs. Then when you add on your pool, that's at least $100,000, landscaping, another $100,000, interior design, another $100,000. And the one thing that consumers often don't factor into this cost is their time towards the project. If you are building something of this caliber, you are probably earning about $300 an hour at your job, and you're definitely going to be spending at least 5 hours a week for the next 2 years in order to bring this to life, putting your time at $150,000. That prices this at $4.5 million to build in today's market.
I made most decisions up front, which is a really important part. I'm grateful. Before breaking ground, I had decided countertops, fixtures, flooring, everything, so that we knew, mostly because of the cost, we need to know what we were getting into before starting, because that's where your price can really fluctuate.
It really fluctuates if you don't have a clear plan.
Yeah, so that was the deal with my husband. We need to have everything bid out ahead of time, knowing everything pretty much up front, and we stuck to it pretty well.
Would you build again?
I would, but now that I know it was the first time, to be completely honest, that I started like having panic things. I didn't know what that was.
Okay, you also had twin babies.
I did. It was a lot, but I remember calling my brother, who's a doctor, and just said, kind of explaining, he's like, Stacy, I think you're having some anxiety. I'm like, is that what that is? I didn't know. I thought I was getting sick and it wasn't going away. But I didn't have a fever. I'm like, what is happening to me? So I truly, it was a lot.
My husband once said to me, we can renovate a house or we can be married, but I don't think we can do both. He was saying it kind of tongue in cheek, but there was a lot of validity to that point. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna put that down for now. And maybe I'll go pick it up later. Stacy, thank you so much for giving us a behind the scenes sneak peek of what it takes to build something timeless, classic, that never goes out of style. If you're looking for a home like this in Arizona, feel free to reach out, and we'd be happy to help you find that, and we will see you guys next time.